It is often said that we are created in the image of God. That statement can be a positive one if everyone's image of God is valued. It gets troublesome when the we in that statement only refers to humankind, because that places humans in a place of superiority. Just think what that has done to the earth. I'm grateful that at Pullen, this phrase is interpreted that all are and everything is in God's image, the entirety of existence, everything we can know and cannot know. But could we turn this statement inside out and perhaps find a more authentic truth? What if we said, we have created God in our image? This twist in the phrasing rings true as we think about the ways many traditions have imaged the divine. The Greek philosopher Xenophanes put it this way: if cattle or horses or lions had hands and could draw, then the horses would draw their gods like horses, and cattle like cattle, and it follows lions like lions. Historically, humans have imaged the divine in a human likeness. Think of how our religious tradition has historically sung of God as Father, King, or Shepherd, and how it has sung of God's face, eyes, voice, hands, arms, or feet, all of these being human or anthropomorphic characteristics. And we also know that for centuries, these human descriptions of God were always male, born out of an oppressive patriarchal society. Many years ago, Pullen set out to change that thinking through the commitment to use inclusive language in what we say or write or sing. And through the years, that stance has expanded so that today our worship council provides in every pew in our sanctuary this meaningful statement. Understanding that all language for God is metaphorical, we intentionally strive to incorporate balanced and inclusive language. This includes translating worship expressions to gender inclusive, gender fluid, and non-gender references for God and all creation. Additionally, because our church participants include persons who view God in a theistic way and others who take a non-theistic or atheistic approach in our communal experience, we strive to continually expand our expressions in speech and in written word and in song. Because we've concluded that all language for God is metaphorical, poetry is a helpful way of expressing what we experience. Poetry leaves room for expansive thinking. Poetry offers opportunity for diverse thoughts within one community. And so from the poetry of the Bible and before to the contemporary poetry of today, we can strive to express the inexpressible. This is what we asked Mary Louise Bringle to do for Pullen in 2010. We had already commissioned hymns from Brian Wren of the UK, Shirley Murray from New Zealand, and in our own backyard was Mary Louise Bringle of North Carolina, Mel as she is known to her friends. She is a college professor at Brevard, was the chairperson of the most recent Presbyterian Hymnal Committee, and is a leader in the Hymn Society. Before we get to her hymn for Pullen, I think you'll find this background story interesting, and it reveals how we came to ask Mel to create a hymn for us. In 2002, I attended the annual gathering of the Hymn Society in the United States and Canada. It was conveniently meeting at Wake Forest University. It was there I was introduced to the hymn poems of Mary Louise, all of them wonderful. But one in particular stood out in my mind. And even though I had been minister of music at Pullen for only 1 year, I thought to myself, I think Pullen would really resonate with this hymn. And after introducing it, little did I know how much that hymn would resonate with Pullen. You may have already guessed that the hymn I'm referring to is Light Dawns on a Weary World. This hymn expresses words our congregation finds deeply meaningful, yet it does so in a poetic way that does not constrict our thinking with a limited naming of the divine. It actually points to the divine in all of us and all that is. At this point, I'd like to insert a commercial. Through a very easy process using your cell phone, you are invited to sing as part of the congregational voices you've seen on our live-streamed worship services. And for Pentecost this year, we'd like to have 50 voices singing Light Dawns. And so after this video, please go to the music ministry page of Pullen.org to sign up. Because Pullen connected so deeply with Light Dawns, it was natural that we would ask Mary Louise to create a hymn poem for us. I was privileged to provide the tune. However, Mary Louise works in a way that is not typical. As a composer, I typically create lyrics or receive them from someone else, live with them for a while, and then see how the words inspire the music. Well, Mel takes the opposite approach. And when you think about it, it is quite amazing. She receives a tune first and then creates a text that is born out of the specific tune. I've heard potters say that it is the lump of clay that determines what the final finished piece will be. And in the same way, Mel takes a tune, and out of it springs a wonderful text. This is the way she composed Light Dawns, tune first. And this is the way she composed our hymn, Source of Every Song We Sing. When commissioning Mel, we had just completed Pullen's first fully functional music ministry rehearsal hall. And to remind us of our purpose in music making, the words Soli Deo Gloria were painted in that space, front and center. This Latin phrase is literally translated, "To God alone be glory," and is known to have been placed on musical scores of composers like Bach and Handel, and even present-day composers. And it reminds us that our music making is for a transcendent experience together. We asked Mel to include this phrase in her hymn text. As we have already discussed, because the Pullen community seeks an expanded and open view of what Deo, or God, is, we asked Mel to write for us words that would expand our thinking and open our minds, to give us a hymn of praise that did not include anthropomorphic images with human characteristics. We were already singing of God in feminine, masculine, and non-gendered ways, and so Mel had her work cut out for her, but so did I. I had never, to that point, composed a hymn tune before the words. And so I went to the rehearsal hall and sat for quite some time at the piano, and have to admit it was hard to know where to start. And so for inspiration, I looked up to that phrase painted above my head, and because we had asked Mel to include it in the hymn, I started creating a rhythm for that phrase. Soli Deo Gloria. And from that rhythm spun out a tune. Pa, 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 pa. Second guessing that Mel might start with that phrase, and we'd sing, Soli Deo Gloria. Well, I should not have second-guessed Mel, because she found a different place, a much better place for that phrase, and the result was a hymn filled with many diverse, poetic descriptions of the divine that broadened our experience. It's one of those hymn poems where you literally find something new every time you sing it. Interestingly, in a previous music ministry video, I mentioned how our congregation loves the hymn text by Shirley Murray, Come and Find the Quiet Center. Without knowing this, one of the images Mel admittedly borrowed from Shirley for our hymn was the image Quiet Center. In addition to use for our worship, this hymn has also been sung by others at the Adult Choir Festival by the Sea and by the Alliance of Baptists gathered at Pullen for its 30th anniversary. Here is that singing of it. And as you listen or sing along, may you celebrate our congregation that seeks to provide ever-evolving expressions and experiences of the inexpressible. May a song remain within you.